This time it has been completely uncontrolled, and it's been the most vicious attack on the minorities for one particular reason that we have to remember, that what has happened in Bangladesh in August 24 is really a recurrence of the losing side in 1971 trying to come back to power in 2024. In 1971, you had Pakistan, you had the Jamaat-e-Islami, and you had the Razakars. And in 2024, you certainly had the Jamaat-e-Islami, and you had, backed by Pakistan, supported by the deep state of the Biden administration in the north, with China in the north. And you had the Razakars and the army also supporting the situation. So because of this, they immediately, just like in 1971, when Yahya Khan green-lighted Operation Searchlight, the first two targets were arrest Sheikh Mujib and send him to West Pakistan and go after the minorities and intellectuals. In 2024, it was the same target. Get Sheikh Hasina out of the country, and after that, go after the minorities in Bangladesh. The point is that they are being blamed, the Indian media is being blamed for creating this myth of the attack on the minorities in Bangladesh. And this is something that is very surprising because it's a myth that has spread worldwide. The global media is covering it as such, even today. And it is something that we have to work very hard on. I think the exhibition that is being held today is a very important start of this direction. But I think really speaking, we have not done enough to bring out the reality of what is happening to the minorities in Bangladesh. And this is a grave lacuna. It cannot be dismissed as internal affairs of Bangladesh, as Tawhid Hussain tried to do when he met EM in Muscat recently. And it cannot be dismissed at all because this is a genocidal ethnic cleansing that is going on. The target has been not only, as I said, the same pattern of 1971, raping, looting, killing, expropriation of properties, forcing the minorities to give up their jobs, forced resignations, in short, getting them to leave the country. They want to have another Pakistan in Bangladesh so that you can again declare an Islamic state. And we see today the other myth that we have to recognize immediately, that this is not a spontaneous student uprising. Much that it is always written around in the rest of the world, the myth that is spread that this is a spontaneous student uprising is completely untrue, neither spontaneous nor led by students. And I think the first one to break the truth on this was Muhammad Yunus himself when he spoke in September 2024 at the Clinton Global Initiative in New York. And he introduced actually his own special assistant, who is said to be a member of the Hizb ut-Tahrir. He brought him on the stage and said he is the mastermind. And Yunus said, don't think this happened by itself. This was meticulously designed. So I think to say after that, to call it a spontaneous student uprising is a myth. And we should do away with that myth and we should write the truth about this.
It's very interesting that the 29 million US dollars, the 29 million US dollars given by the Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening was given to Associate Professor Ainul Islam of the Department of Political Science of Dhaka University. He was the director of Micro Governance Research Initiative. 29 million US dollars. And this Micro Governance Research Initiative held 444 programs all across the country with students till September 2022. 10,264 university students across Bangladesh were part of this entire program. And then in January 7th, Applied Democracy Lab was established at the Dhaka University, funded by this organization. And therefore, when President Trump the other day said that 29 million US dollars were given to an organization whose name no one has heard to strengthen Bangladesh's political infrastructure, I think he was on very solid ground. I mean, you fund 29 million US dollars to an entity in Dhaka University. I'm sure it's not pure academics. I mean, it's not pure research. Uses this sentence: information available to OHCHR has not shown that such incidents were orchestrated or organized by these parties' national leadership, which also took steps to condemn violence targeting minority groups. They have let the cat out of the bag. This is the line that the head of the interim arrangement has been parroting. that, oh, these are all political attacks. They're not religious in nature. And while there is a clear pattern, there is a clear method to the attacks that took place, the United Nations report says that, these were not orchestrated.
For the freedom of Hindus and other minorities in Bangladesh, I think, as the Bhagavad Gita says, violence is sometimes necessary, strength is sometimes necessary. When your borders are threatened, when your brothers and sisters are persecuted or killed, violence becomes dharmic. Am I wrong? Maybe I have misinterpreted the Bhagavad Gita, but I think it does say that, that being strong is also dharmic. That at the moment, what is happening in Bangladesh is terrible. It is terrible. And the world is silent. And the world is silent.
The targeting that was done, it was Hindus, of course, because this was a part of a fundamentalist alliance. But also, to a large extent, it was all supporters of the Awami League. Hence, this thing, it was more or less on the cards that this sort of thing will happen. How it will play out, one doesn't know, but one thing is certain.
প্রিয় দর্শক, সমকালীন সব চমৎকার খবর ও বিশ্লেষণ দেখতে সাবস্ক্রাইব করুন আমাদের চ্যানেলটি।